McSally.com.
Slammed North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un over his latest missile launch, calling him a sick puppy. This is a new video of the launch, shows a missile that may be significant improvement over earlier designs. It may be able to carry a much larger bomb and capable of being fired from a mobile launch pad, making it more difficult to defend against it. U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley took this very seriously today, issuing this warning to North Korea.
The dictator of North Korea made a choice yesterday that brings the world closer to war, not farther from it. We have never sought war with North Korea, and still today, we do not seek it. If war does come, it will be because of continued acts of aggression like we witnessed yesterday. And if war comes, make no mistake, the North Korean regime will be utterly destroyed.
That from the UN yesterday. Congresswoman Martha McSally joining us now, a Republican from Arizona, member of the House Homeland Security Committee. Great to have you along on the program, Congresswoman McSally. First of all, tell me where we are with all of this. I mean, utterly destroyed. You and I talked about, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we hadn't gotten to this point yet.
No, we haven't, and this new launch is serious. It's got a range of up to 8,100 miles, which could reach anywhere in the United States. It went up 2,800 miles straight up, which is 500 miles more than the last ICBM launch. This is a significant development, not surprising, but we need to continue to tighten the noose and cut off the oxygen of this hostile and aggressive regime to stop them from having the capability to hold American cities hostage with a nuclear weapon. Sanctions have been working they've been strengthened, but more needs to be done by China, and we still could do more, like, for example, fund the president's emergency request for $4 billion of additional missile defense and $1.2 billion for naval ship repair for the damaged in the Pacific. So we all got to get to work in the international community with our allies around the region. South Korea needs to accept more missile defense capabilities there, and we've got to tighten up the noose.
You know, I'm appreciative of you bringing that up, because I've been following this morning. You were with a group this morning that was talking about sending a bill to the president about that very thing. And I have your Twitter here. The world is far too dangerous a place to neglect our military. And you've just explained to us the areas where you want to see us shoring up. Talk to me, because you're also a member of our former fighting forces, a former member, I should say. And now we've got your tweet up here. That's why we are sending this bill to the president to increase military strength and authorize defense spending. Talk to me about any resistance that you're finding. This should be a bipartisan no-brainer or not?
Right. No, the annual defense bill we just sent to the president's desk. This is significant for stopping the readiness crisis, for improving the readiness of our troops, providing more manpower, more operations and maintenance costs. So this is significant. It's bipartisan, but in addition to that, there was an emergency funding request that came in. The Senate marked that up in their Appropriations Committee last week for defense, and we've got to work to actually get those resources specifically for the missile defense and the Navy ship repair across the finish line quickly. In addition, there's other things that need to happen. I mean, China needs to kick out the hackers that North Korea has in China that are doing cyber attacks to steal resources. They need to cut down and cut off their oil supply. We've cut off 30%. But in 2003, the pipeline between North Korea and China was shut down for a few days, and that drove North Korea to the table. So China needs to do more. Now, they say it was just a malfunction, but the point is we need to crank it up. China is so critical, the rest of the international community under the U.S. leadership, but everybody has to take this serious as an existential threat.
Well, that is a great detail, and I had forgotten about that 3-day malfunction, because it was called, but it brought North Korea to the table. The president tweeted this today. The Chinese envoy who just returned from North Korea seems to have no impact on little rocket man. Hard to believe his people and the military put up with living in such horrible conditions. Russia and China condemned the launch. You're talking a lot about China. Let's talk about Russia now.
Yeah. Well, Russia has been increasing ships that are heading towards China and North Korea over the last months. So sanctions only work if they're actually enforced. And this is going to take all of our partners in the international community to enforce those sanctions, both by naval vessels, but then also over land by China. So it appears Russia is probably trying to go around those sanctions. So we all, again, can do more for naval ship inspections and things at ports of departure. Iran is also a menace in this, so that they're not able to go around the sanctions. But a lot of the overland activity is also coming from China. So both of them need to start paying attention as international actors here and acting like first-rate international actors for this menace, regional and global security threat. Stop saying one thing and doing another when it comes to this threat.
All right, before I let you go, there is news developing, obviously, with the State Department. We don't know exactly what it will look like yet, but there's talk today that Rex Tillerson could exit after the first of the year, and that we could see someone else come in, possibly the CIA director, Mike Pompeo, possibly Ambassador Nikki Haley. Any thoughts that you have on this? Because North Korea, obviously, is an area where Rex Tillerson and President Trump did not see eye to eye.
Well, this is a critical position at a very important time with threats like North Korea and others around the world. Certainly, it's up to the administration to decide who they want in their cabinet positions and the Senate to advise and consent and confirm. But it's critical that we would do that smoothly if they choose to make that change in personnel and the Democrats not hold any change in personnel confirmation hearings up at such a crucial time in our national security.
Real quickly, are you that we can move forward with more diplomacy, or as you hear Nikki Haley and others say, you got to keep that military option on the table? Last word.
We've got to have all options on the table. Our military needs to be ready, and we need to be willing to use that option while we continue to use diplomatic measures. More can be done in order to cut off their oxygen and force this to be so painful and show that we're ready and willing to stop them militarily if we need to.
All right. Congresswoman McSally of the great state of Arizona, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thanks, Harris. Good to see you, too.
After more than a week